Tested.
Yeah, it's about learning from each other. They've already told you my name is Doreen Arinitwe Kahigwa, and I work with Open Friends. I lead the team here, and I love children. I love children with special needs, and I'm here to share basically the general experiences that I've had. So today I'm here to talk about special needs in children, and basically I'll look at the signs and solutions as you plan to take your children to school, as you plan for your children. What are those signs that you feel that are causing concern to you? Those are some of the things I'm going to look at. I'm going to talk about, and then I'll talk about the solutions that possibly you can look at so that you can be able to reach out to as many children as possible. Yes, so I will go right away. I will ask someone to share my slides, but I'll go right away. I work with Open Friends. We love children. It's a center full of love without conditions. So all the children are loved without any conditions. Here, special needs in children, we need to understand basically what special needs is. And I'm going to talk about special needs children. I'll talk about the causes of special needs in children. I'll also look at how to identify special needs in children. Then we will see how we can help our children with special needs. So special needs basically is any difficulty, any learning disability, any condition that probably a child may have, an impairment that causes an individual to require additional help, additional or specialized services that you may really see that the child may need in education or even in our day-to-day lives in recreation. So that is special needs. And sometimes you describe special needs as an individual who basically is with mental, emotional, and physical disability. So that is special needs. And what about a special needs child? When you look at a special needs child, we are looking at a child who is who has been determined to require special attention, to require special assistance, to require special assistance in their well-being, in their performance, and in their growth that other children do not require, other children of the same age. And children with special needs are children with, disabilities that make their learning or doing activities quite difficult. So that is a special needs child. Right now, let me quickly go to what brings special needs. What is that brings special needs? When it comes to your mind, when you hear the word special needs, what do you think causes special needs? And for me, with the literature that is out there and with what we know that special needs is brought about by impairment. When I talk about impairment, I mean the loss of maybe a physical part of the body, the loss of body part, or even the loss of biological function, the loss of anatomical structure. So when you look at an impairment, this is a challenge that results. It results from having a restriction on the body function, the restriction on body which leads to the impairment, which leads to the limitation of performing tasks or participating in many other activities. So that is impairment. For example, if at all once you were having your eyes working well, you could work, your eyes were functioning well, And then later on, you got some challenges with your eyes. So you became impaired. That is, you got a visual impairment. And so it made you disabled. It made you disabled. So special needs is brought about by disability. Because you cannot see well, you are disabled. And that is why maybe you have glasses, you have, things to help you see well. So you are disabled. You are not able maybe to drive well, and that makes you handicapped. So if at all you are disabled, then you are not able to function well in the roles that you are supposed to function in. So that is basically what brings disability in brief. I want to be brief because I was given a short time. So when you look at special needs, it's brought about impairment. Impairment leads to disability, and then which leads to a person becoming handicapped. So then what are the conditions? What are these impairments that we are talking about? The impairments are classified as special needs. Yeah, you can see that on the slide we are looking at chronic illnesses. When a child has chronic illnesses, for example, if a child has eczema, if a child has certain chronic illnesses, they make him disabled to do certain things. If at all I take an example of eczema, you find that a child loses self-confidence, self-image, and they don't want to be in public. They are not able to socialize well. They are not able to do things the way they are supposed to do. So chronic illnesses are some of the conditions that are classified as what? As special needs in children. And there is terminal illnesses, for example, cancer. There is physical impairment. Physical impairment, recently you had the campaign that is going on of polio immunization, and the child was born normal, and all of a sudden the child loses, the physical ability and becomes impaired. The congenital deformities. When I talk about that, you talk about challenges born with the child. Maybe you talk about the webbed fingers, the webbed feet, spina bifida. Those are conditions that are born with the child. Then we have intellectual disabilities. Those are all conditions classified as special needs. We have speech and language impairment. Then we also have learning disabilities. Those are also classified as special needs. We have emotional disabilities. Those emotional disabilities that affect the different children to, socialize well. We have behavioral abnormalities and so many other conditions that I can really, they are not even given names yet. There are many conditions that are out there. So then, what causes these conditions? What causes these disabilities in children? These causes may occur during pregnancy, at birth, and during the development of the child. They occur during pregnancy, at birth, and during the development of the child. These factors include the biological factors. When I talk about biological factors, I'm talking about factors that affect the body system, factors that affect the structure of the body. So those are biological factors. Then there are psychological factors. These are factors that affect the mind. They affect the emotions, the social being of an individual. Then the social factors. These are factors that affect the social and emotional being of the person. So under biological, you find that there are factors like genetics. When we do assessment here at Open Friends, we find out, has it been running in the family? Sometimes the factors are the result of maternal mental health. If at all the child has, the mother has some complication with the mental health, then there is most likely to expose the child to these conditions. Then under psychological, you find that there are factors like maternal stresses that causes the special needs conditions in the children. And then we have conflicts at home. the conflicts, the child neglect, all these are factors that contribute to the conditions of children with special needs. And so these factors are the ones that cause the disabilities in children. What are some of the signs that we can look at? Red flags. What is that you need to look at when you have the children around you, when you have those children that you're taking care of? The red flags may be that the children may present delayed development milestones. There is a development chart that we normally have, and even on the internet it's there, that you can look at to know that your child is developing well. So you look at that development chart, you observe, probably you have had children, your first children were developing at the normal rate, but then this other child who came in was not developing. Maybe they were supposed to be sitting by 6 months, but it has taken them a year to even sit. It has taken them 2 years to even walk. It has taken them a long time to develop the main milestones. So those are some of the red flags you look at and you say, this could be the sign. It could be a sign that my child has a challenge. And normally I'm saying may because the children might look normal, they might develop normal, but then they have some issues. Then they might have communication challenges. They might have communication challenges. They may have problems with learning. They may have behavioral challenges. They may have compared to the ordinary children, you find that your child is throwing tantrums, your child is not listening, is not cooperative, is not social. You have to think about those red flags and you say, what could this be? It's a symptom that maybe there could be a problem, there could be a challenge with my child. Sometimes the children may have mobility challenges. They may present with posture abnormalities. Posture abnormalities in the child cannot sit well, the neck is floppy, the body is all floppy. So you find that those are flags, and the baby is still young, the baby is maybe like about 6 months, but the neck is not yet firm. The neck is not yet firm. It could be a red flag for you to say, what could this be? It could be an issue that I need to find out from other professions. They may also present with obesity. They may be obese. A child who is 4 years and is 40 kilograms or 35 kilograms, they are normal standard kilograms for children. So if they present with that, we categorize them. You begin to think about it. You say, could this be that maybe my child has a problem? So those are some of the signs that I've mentioned. They may have visual problems. Maybe the child is in the class, they are always telling you they can't see. They are telling you maybe they can't see when they are closing their eyes. So you find that those children have visual problems. They may have hearing problems. You find that you call your child many times, but they're not responding to you. You call them, they are not, or they are turning one ear. Probably they are turning one ear and you are wondering, why is it that whenever I told them, they turn to the other ear? There could be a sign that they have a challenge. So let's quickly look at some of the challenges faced by children with special needs. Some challenges are educational limitations. You find that these children who have these signs, they may not see well on the blackboard. For example, if it's visual impairment and the child is seated behind. So they are limited to learn well. They are limited to even get to retain information if at all the child has some challenges. So what are some of the other challenges? Environmental isolation. Some children, we have been told, we have discovered, the child who we discovered that they were locked up in a room. So that is isolation. Even in the community, they isolate them. Probably, maybe even when they have a party at home, they isolate them. Those are some of the challenges they are faced by children. And they themselves, the children, they can isolate themselves. Then there is family rejection. Some children are rejected. you find maybe the parents are not working together. Then there is stigma. Stigma to the family, stigma to the children. So you find that those are some of the challenges our children face. And these challenges that they face can affect their education. Then there is cultural belief. You have a child and they will tell you that maybe you went for witchcraft or so and so much stuff bewitched me. Those are some of the challenges that children are faced. And they say, this one was ordained somewhere or something like that. Or he was given out to some, spirits. Environmental barriers. You find the children are, if at all is visually impaired, they may not be able to move around the way they should. Poor nutrition. All these challenges are faced by the children. And then they are limited to medical facilities. Imagine a child who is in the village. Imagine a child who is in a remote area and is special and they cannot be able to get the medical facilities, the therapy center, or even information to their parents so that they can be helped. And there are so many other challenges that I cannot really exhaust today. I cannot be able to tell you everything. So let us look at the solutions. What are some of those solutions that we can think of? What are some of the interventions that we can really think about? When we think about children with special needs, we need to think about identification of children with special needs. We need to identify what is exactly wrong with this child. What is the condition that this child is having? What is that condition that the child really is facing? So it requires assessment. For you to identify a child with special needs, you require to do assessment. Assessment involves first thing is observation. That is the first thing of assessment. Assessment may involve early detection, medical assessment. While you're taking your maybe antenatals, they can tell you early that probably this child has a heart defect. Probably this child has a spina bifida. Probably this child has webbed fingers and webbed feet. And then that early detection can prepare you and you can be able to manage the condition well. So it involves early detection of the child's condition at the medical facility, school, and even at the family level. So when we look at the medical assessment, I've already told you the medical professions like nurses, doctors, pediatrician, clinical psychologists, they can all assess and tell you, you know what, we need to do a further investigation. We need to do a specific investigation. We need to assess, and they can be able to tell you an impression they have about the condition that the child is experiencing. When you look at school assessment, every school does assessment. There is informal and formal assessment. And normally you find that if you can go to my next slide, you find that in the school's assessment slide, the many children with learning disability, learning difficulties may be identified through classwork. The teacher may give an exercise, they will give examination, and the child is experiencing challenges. That's how you can discover the child who has maybe learning difficulties like dyslexia, maybe like there are many learning disabilities that teachers can discover. And so during their formal assessment, they can be able to tell this child has a problem. And even the informal, they can also be able, in group discussion, maybe storytelling, they can look at the child and know that there is a problem with this particular child. There is also children with special needs are unable to work. Normally, they are unable to work with what? With the other children of the same age. So at this moment, that's where I tell you that, you know, some of the solution as they make assessments, you need to consider. You need to consider, okay, how can I help the child? How can I be able to give extra help? As I mentioned earlier, you know, in our definitions, we mentioned that special needs is a special needs child is one who is determined to require special what? Attention. So when you identify these challenges, then you can be able to help. Then there is also family assessment. In family assessment, parents look, caretakers can monitor, they observe, they assess the development delay. They can be able to tell that, hey, how come this child is not developing like so and so? They can compare, and in their comparison, they can be able to tell that there is a problem with this particular child. So that is one of the solutions. Do assessment, look at your child and get to know what is the problem. So after that, you will take another level. When you are at a family assessment, you will seek out for help. You will go and seek out for help from the medical professions. You go and seek out for help. You can ask the teachers in the school that what can I do? They can easily advise you that you need to get maybe a speech and language therapist, you need to do more of this, you need to do more of that. So you seek out for help. Let's quickly look at also the solutions right now. When you look at the solutions, the solutions that are laid out there, it is a cycle. For you to get the solutions for this child who needs specialized attention, what do? You have done assessment, probably you need medical treatment. Then you go ahead and get therapy. Here at Open Friends, we also offer therapy. And you find that at times the child may be in an inclusion program, but they still need therapy. So one of the solutions to help children with special needs is include their therapy interventions in their school program. Include it. So when you include it, then you continue, you give the children support. Make sure that you give them support. Continue with the therapy. Be consistent. Work together with the stakeholders, maybe the teachers, the doctors, the psychologists. You keep visiting. Also implement. When the teachers give the help, and then the therapists also give the help, the therapy integration with education, plus parents participating, then they can be able to help this child reach their full potential. And so you find that even the community has to support. The family has to support in many ways. The community has to support you, the community you have to support. The parents have to pay money. You have to pay money for an extra teacher, maybe a support teacher in class. You have to pay extra money with therapy. So that is all support, family support and community support. For you as one who is listening in, how are you helping another child, a child in the community, a child in your family, a child of your friend? That is one of the ways you can support them. You can support them by encouraging them. That is family support. That is community support. So you don't stop at supporting. If at all the condition is really more complicated, then it requires, if the assessment that comes out shows that actually they need more concentration skills, more maybe training in other skills, then you need to seek out for special needs education. It's not bad to start from a center. Many a times inclusion is really good, but it needs to be given when the child has certain skills. For example, concentration. If the child sits in class and cannot be able to concentrate, is moving up and down, and you are in a class of many other children, is going to distract the other children. Why not first train the child in a special center to concentrate, to settle down, to sit down, to have a structure in her activity of the day? So it's not bad to start from a certain point, then you include that. Open Friends, that's what we do. We don't intend to keep the children here. We intend to help the parents, help the children develop the skills, and then afterwards they can be taken on in the mainstream. They can be taken on in that school, because you will have the child who is running around, and then the parent will demand maybe from from the school, they will demand that, you know what, my child is been paying school fees and so on and so forth. Even you yourself, you're feeling it, you've been paying school fees, but we have not tackled the primary things. We haven't trained this child to be on a particular structure, on a level. There are certain levels that we need to take them through for them to be in an inclusion setting. So special needs education is not bad. You just need to know which level is my child at, which level is my child able to be in a mainstream school. Are we together? I hope I'm still with you. And then, of course, with special needs education, you find that our government has tried to encourage inclusion. And so if a child can be able to mingle, can be able to sit together with the many other children in the class, then you can be able to do what? To include the child in the mainstream education. You find that also special needs education in Uganda, we have a budget of 0.1. So if you don't support, then this special education will not be given to the child. Because if the budget in Uganda is 0.1, then how will this child acquire the education? I call upon parents that you need to know the facts so that you can be able to help your child. Then, of course, if we have good government policies, if we have good community policies for inclusion, then you find that our children are getting solutions. Our children are being helped everywhere they go. I will quickly go to what to do with our children. What should we do? The other solutions that we can have on our fingertips. What are those things that we can do? We can, with proper medical care, with the therapy intervention, family support, with special needs education and good government policies and community policies, every child is able to reach their full potential. So therefore, what should we do? We need to take the children for medical assessment. We need to take them for medical treatment. Where they need continuous assessment, you need to make sure that you take the children for continuity. You continue to give them that medical assessment. Visit the hospitals, visit the different schools that you take your children in so that you can support them. Ensure that your child is able to get therapy continually. Ensure that your child is with special needs is getting special needs education, is getting support at their school, is getting that support that he or she requires. Then provide the child with assistive devices. For your child to be able to perform well, you need to give them assistive devices, maybe mobility aids, maybe communication devices, maybe some learning devices that you can be able to give to the different children. Provide the children with a structure. This is really important. A child who has autism, and even a child who has cerebral palsy, they need a structure. They need to know, for example, cerebral palsy, they need to know when to eat. Otherwise, they will become obese. They will become obese, and you're dealing with two different issues right there at that moment, and they are not able to reach their fullest potential. So give them a structure, provide a structure for the child. For some children, when you interrupt their structure, they do not perform well. And then be your child's advocate. Be your child's advocate. When you take this child in an inclusion, in an inclusive school, make sure that you advocate for your child. Make sure that you support your child. Educate people about the children, about your children's abilities, about your children's condition, so that they know how to work with the children that you have given to them. Then, of course, when we look at also the other solutions that we can have on our disposal, build your child's strength. Don't focus only on academics. Build the strength. Promote the child's success. Promote your child's abilities. What are those abilities that you see? Offer physical and emotional support. Be there at all times with your child. Offer physical support. And then educate yourself. It's important to know what is the condition that your child is having. It's important to educate yourself with the condition that your child has. If they have told you your child has autism, or your child has cerebral palsy, or your child has this, then you educate yourself so that you do continuity even at home. Okay? Then ensure that if at all you sense something which is not right, have that early detection and early treatment, early intervention. Be realistic. Do not expect much. Don't expect so much so quickly. Then have the society inclusion in education. So I'll quickly go to how to empower. Your children are going to go to school. Your children with special needs, maybe the child in the community. How can we empower? We need to empower our children by taking them to hospitals for daily reviews. We need to make sure that we do daily reviews. If you have a baby at home, do those reviews to see the progress of the child. Get to know that your child is growing normally. The head is growing at a normal rate. This is going well. Everything is going well. Even treatment. If at all they need treatment, take them for treatment. Then train your children with skills for productivity. Support them by training them with skills for productivity. Don't only look at just skills which are hinged on just academics alone. Then build support networks in the community. When they see the child maybe is not performing well, they can help. Then take the child to a special needs education center. Take the child for special needs education. Make sure that you can be able to get specialized services wherever you go. Then, of course, I'll continue to say it, advocate for a barrier-free environment to increase the participation. So you find that if at all the child is in a school with many stairs, advocate. Make sure that you advocate for those children so that they can have ramps if at all the child has cerebral palsy and they have to use wheels. If at all the child is blind, if at all, advocate for them. So, well, the presentation has been quick, and I want to just quickly talk about also Open Friends. Open Friends is a center for children with special needs, and we care for children. We give general assessments, we give specific assessment, we provide, we give you special needs education, speech and language therapy. We also offer occupational therapy. We also give skills training like maybe swimming, music, computer, art and crafts, and involve them in other skills. Then we do also referrals. We do referrals, and then we also visit homes. We visit homes and make sure that, okay, what is wrong with the environment? So that is what we do at Open Friends. Once again, thank you so much for listening in. Don't hesitate to come and visit us. Don't hesitate. If you have any question, you can call us on our website. We have the numbers. You can call us. We can be able to help you. Thank you so much, the team and the Rotarians. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak to you about the area that I'm passionate about. Mr. President, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Doreen. Please, virtual hand clap to Doreen if you can. We appreciate the time. I didn't miss anything. Amidst us, Doreen is a group of people. We have parents, those who have children, we have those who have grandchildren, and there are also those who are threatening to have children. So this is very key for us to listen in. And Rotarians, you know that we also do a number of projects in this area of vulnerable children or special needs children. Some of you are doing these projects elsewhere, I know. So I'll allow that Doreen answers any questions if you have any. Ruth, are you here to manage this? Or Paul? I don't know whether there's some questions posted in the chat room. Yes, Ruth.
Thank you, President. There's no question so far. There's actually people appreciating the presentation. We still don't have any question.
Okay. May I ask if you have a question, you could put your hand up, you raise your hand. Okay, I want to mention that Doreen is a teacher, and when she teaches, everyone understands. But further to this, you can, Doreen, please type your contact in the chat so that members can follow up your email or contact, they will pick it. PAG Ruth.
Hello, yes,
Yes.
President. You know, I'm in Ssese and we were doing a debriefing, but I listened to quite a lot of the presentation. I'd like to thank Doreen for the presentation. I'm just wondering, Doreen did not sort of like talk about those children who are very clever. For me, those very clever children, I think they are children with special needs. I wonder how we can deal with them. They are, you know, they are unsettled in class because they are even ahead of the teacher. So
Okay.
I don't know how we can help them, because most cases they fall off and fall off the main road because of being too clever. So what does Doreen think about that?
Yes, Doreen, I could kindly answer that.
President, before she comes on, can I
Yes.
also ask a simple question?
Please.
I've
Yes,
failed
please.
to put up my hand.
Honorable, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Doreen. That was very great deliberations. When I was in S2, we had the student in S1, was very brilliant, very, very, very proactive, and he passed very well in class. He was among the top 10, but he was not promoted to go to S2 because every night it rained on his bed at least not less than twice. And so the school could not take him back. Would he qualify to be a special needs child?
Thank you,
President.
Thank you, Honorable March. Doreen, I think you can, oh, I see two other hands. Carol, please.
Right, thank you very much, Doreen, for that presentation. I don't know, Mr. President, if I'm allowed, I wanted to answer the question of the second question that has been asked about, I think that was bedwetting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted to help Doreen, I don't know.
Please, go ahead.
If I can, yes. Okay, so thank you. So I'm Dr. Karen, I'm a pediatrician, and I'm very glad to be on this forum. So I wanted to answer the question about bedwetting. Bedwetting in children who we expect to have achieved dry nights is actually not necessarily a condition for only special needs children. Actually, several special needs children may be able to maintain dry nights. If the child does not have any form of developmental delay or intellectual disability and every other condition associated, for children who are neurotypical in their development, oftentimes bedwetting usually has a psychological cause. Okay, it usually has a psychological cause, and therefore you would need to assess that child fully in the other parameters. But for children with developmental delay, which could be global, meaning many other domains are affected, for example, language, for example, learning, social, bedwetting, children may take a while to achieve dry nights. However, it's not a typical sign of being special needs, if I could call it that. I think that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carol. Yes, Moses, please ask your question and Doreen will answer those.
I
Moses?
have a question.
Okay, Daniel, go on.
Yeah, thank you, President. Daniel from Lindo. A quick one, Doreen, thank you for the presentation. It was very nice. We have these special needs children who were not given the opportunity to actually maybe do what Doreen has said. The medical therapy and everything did not make them come through. So they have actually become big. They are no longer children in the sense that they are over 18. I wanted her comment on those such children. They are there, they are with their parents, they cannot get married, they cannot get men and women and children, and so how can they be helped? Thank you very much.
Nabila, please.
Hello. Am I heard?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think it was a lovely presentation and very close to my heart. One thing I felt that would be good for us to also hear about, how do we approach parents who are constantly in denial? They have children, they know that there is an issue there, but they are in denial. It's very difficult to convince them to go and meet specialists that would help them. So I wish some light could be thrown on that for the help of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nabila. Toss or Tus?
Yeah.
Please ask. Oh. Moses, are you here? You could go first.
President? Yes, President, I'm here.
Okay, please go
thank you,
first.
President. Thank you, President, and thank you, Doreen, for the wonderful presentation. Doreen, I have a quick one. When you travel, you happen to see a lot of facilities, a lot of equipment, which is adapted to the needs of the special need people. We don't get to see a lot of that in Uganda. You find that most houses or offices do not provide for facilities that can be easily accessible by disabled or special needs persons. I'm just wondering what different organizations here in Uganda are doing to influence government policy towards providing for some of these facilities and equipment so that the disabled and special needs persons can also be just like anybody and can access all facilities just like any other person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Moses. Lastly, Helen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, President. I had two questions. One was about the denial, which has been asked. Another, the first one was about in the chat room. It's about how can Rotary partner with Doreen and the people who work with that area to help children and parents with special needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Helen. I see Tass is back. Can you ask, please? Tass, your network is poor. We'll get back to you. Maybe you type your question. Doreen, please go on. In a few minutes, I hope you can. The questions are many and more flowing.
The questions are quite many.
Yes.
But thank you so much for listening in and for those responses that you had. I thought I was, sometimes you are like, and that the students are not asking. But well, I'll respond to the first one, which said that well, those children who are very clever. That Actually, yes, they are categorized. They are categorized to be special needs. They are called the talented, gifted children. And so many at times the gifted children, if they don't have a proper structure, they can derail. So gifted children need to be assessed. When you see a child who is ahead of a teacher, a child who finishes, who reads more topics than others, who performs well, then you need to ask for a specific assessment for that particular child, so that they can give you how to help. I haven't been able to discuss with you the different conditions that we have in Uganda. They need to go for the IQ test. Children who are very clever, they need to go for the IQ test so that they can be able to be helped rightly. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to share with you the different conditions we have in the world. There are so many, and how to help. So each condition has the how to help. I just generalized. So when you look at the clever children, you take them for an assessment, an IQ assessment, so that they can be able to be helped well. They doesn't mean, and it's true, there are many children who have failed to even make it in life. And you hear stories that that child was the brightest in the class, he was the one who did it, but then they end up not even, achieving much in life. Someone who is brilliant enough and they continue to study, they never put their knowledge into practice, they study, they add on to this, they add on to that. You find that a person has had education for a lifetime and they have not been able to even share it with the community. They have not been able to support. It's because they have not been guided really on what to do. So children can present differently. For sure they can present, and they show much strength in one area. You find that they show strength in maybe they can show strength in many areas. You find a child is able to sing, is able to play the guitar, is able to do this, is able to do classwork, is able, but at the same time, you find children who are only able to do other things and they are not able to do the rest, classwork, okay? So assessment is always important to be done. They need assessment, they need to get advices from the different professions, the teachers, the doctors, the psychologists. They need to get advices so that you can help the child in how to move on. Then the second question was talking about, Dr. Carol, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in. And it has been answered. A child who has limitations and find that even our ordinary children, they do it. So sometimes it is a psychological effect. I will not go too much because of time on that. So then I'll go to Daniel's question, where he said that I should comment on children who are over 18. How can they help? Children who are over 18, you need to, again, assessment is continuous. Assessment is continuous. You assess and reassess, and you get advices on what to do. So you continue to assess, you go to organizations, you bring the child maybe like here, and we find out how can we help even on the home setting. We may not be able to enroll the child here, but because I had mentioned to you that we do home visits, then we can be able, how best can be able to help the child to be able to live a life that is acceptable by the society. So in Uganda, we have many centers, really. We have many centers that can be able to assess the child. I can't say that we are the only center. There are many centers and they can be able to advise. And we have also organizations that reach out to children who have not yet gotten skills that can help them live a life which is independent. And that is the most important thing, to see your child to be independent when you're not there. Then I'll quickly go to Dr. Nabira. Thank you so much for the question. How do we approach parents who are always in denial? The first thing we have also experienced is telling parents to accept the children. So you keep communicating. You tell them. It's important to keep that rapport, with the parents, and you can bring in somebody who is specialized to discuss with the parents. The counselors can be able to talk. In your conferencing with the parents, you continue to talk about it. And when you're conferencing, the best thing is to invite someone who is able to come in and tactfully bring it up to them and accept the condition. You can tell them to visit. You can tell them to read about certain conditions. You can tell them to say that, okay, we are looking at this and we are thinking that maybe you need to read about this. What do you feel about it? And then you can have a form. For example, some schools, we have a form here where a parent ticks that my child can do this, my child can do that, my child cannot do this, cannot do that. On the initial time, maybe the initial conferencing, with that, here we call it All About Me form. And so the parent is able to tell us what the child is able to do and what the child is not able to do. And you can be able to tactfully tell them that, from what you have mentioned on this form, we think you need to look for more information and more advice about this child. And then about this condition, probably you need assessment. When you have the All About Me form, the parent on the first day, or the parent in the first visit, the first conferencing, when they fill in that form, they are free to tell you certain things which you may show a red flag to you. They may be able to tell you that, oh, this and this and this, because you have not yet attacked them. So that is one of the ways. The other way is continual discussion with them and telling them, prompting them to seek out information about the condition of the child. So then was it TUS? TUS was us wondering, was it TUS? Are there equipment in Uganda? I think. What are the different organizations doing to see that we provide? I think if I got it right, I kind of lost along the way. But true, the reason why maybe the president took time to come here and invite people like us is to make sure that we tell you people, the community, you are policy makers out there. I'm sure here there are honorables. I saw honorables. I saw doctors. I saw head of teachers. So we know that we need to influence. We have to advocate. We have to talk to the government authorities to be able to bring in these equipments, to bring in the equipments to the different schools. The schools that have accepted inclusion, they need to be supported. So if we have any government official on this platform, this is your call now to be able to go out and tell the government, tell the communities on how we can be able to bring these things at a subsidized rate. For example, if it's a center, there are many centers, and you cannot be able to bring the things with the taxes that are, the taxes that are being put on them. So you find that it is quite hard. So I am thinking that if at all the community, the government policies are improved, if at all the doctors go ahead and say that the hospitals are able to provide these different things that they need to assess well the child's condition, because also sometimes they assess and they give you a wrong impression about the condition. So if at all the doctors can push, the government can push, the leaders can push the different people to make sure that we have the equipments that we need. We have organizations that provide equipments in Uganda. For example, we have an organization in Katalemwa that makes chairs, it makes wedges, it makes things that can help our children to function well. And they are safe. They are safe, so we really need just to get in touch. If at all you can get referrals, then sometimes these equipments are expensive. So Rotarians like you can choose to say, let me say maybe Open Friends, you can choose to say Open Friends, we want to take care of your sensory room. And you feel it, we give you the different things that we want to buy from maybe the other side of in the European countries where they have everything, and we equip. It can be Open Friends, it can be another center, it can be a school, it can be any other place, it can be a hospital where you can support. There are centers where you can be able to support, and you buy these equipments as the community that is out there, and you are yearning to see that these children get the facilities that they need to have. Then from Helen, how can we partner with us? You can partner with us in different ways. First of all, you have given us the platform. We need more platforms to advocate. We need to be supported in different ways to reach out to those children in their homes. Some children, like you had from Daniel, a child is 18 and cannot fit in a community like ours. Who is going to help them? But then if we have a group of people that come in and say, you know what, go ahead in the communities and reach out to the children. If we have a team that goes and talks to the different government authorities and improves on the policies. For example, if at all we have a group of leaders here who can talk to the Ministry of Education to increase the budget. You can imagine the budget here in Uganda for the children that goes towards children with special needs is 0.1. 0.1. What can 0.1 do for the many children who have special conditions and they need those special equipments, they need amenities, the different amenities? What can we do? 0.1% of the budget that goes. So if you can extend that support to the different centers, we have a 5,000 campaign that goes towards therapy that is extended to the different children that are in the community. You can partner with us in that manner. You can say, you know what, we need to buy you an equipment. You can visit and support us in different ways. You can, there's so much that you can be able to do for the children in the community, for the children in your home and in our country. Yeah. So I don't know whether I've exhausted.
Yeah, sure. Very well. Thank you, Doreen. Unfortunately, we cannot continue with the questions, but those who have taken your number in the chat can follow up with more questions, or more can be answered in the chat if you're able. There are some questions flowing in the chat. That's okay. Unfortunately, members, we can't have any more questions. This is a very hot topic and very interesting and very close to most of us. Rotarians, we can reach out to these homes, to these facilities and support them as we always do. I'll right away ask Rotarian PhD Ruth Kavuma to give Doreen a vote of thanks for this. Yes. PhD Ruth. Barbara V, has she dropped?
Who, Ruth? No,
Oh,
she's
Ruth,
here.
you're here.
PhD Ruth, she's here.
Yes.
Yes, President. President.
Yes.
You know, this debriefing on my veranda is also causing a little bit of distraction. But, but Doreen, thank you so much, really, for the information that you have given us. Thank you, President, for getting Doreen to us. There are so many of us who have challenged children, and as somebody mentioned it, we just hide them. But I think with Doreen's talk, we will come out and know exactly what to do with them. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank all the people who have attended on behalf of the President and on behalf of Rotary Club of Kampala-Ssese Islands. And we hope, Doreen, you are not a Rotarian. I hope you will join Rotary because you are giving a lot of good information. We have a certificate of appreciation. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it. But basically, it is saying thank you for making that presentation and making that.
You don't have your glasses.
I don't have the things that they put on the eyes to see.
Yes.
But thank you so much.
Oh, PhD, so special needs of glasses.
Yes, my special need are glasses.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate. I'd like to ask the Sergeant to give me a few minutes to close this. David Rujaro Taros. Thank you for the moment. Please mute. Okay, I think that is coming from the cohort of Machin, where Pauline is. Thank you, members. Doreen, thank you so much. We'll quickly go to a few announcements before I invite Rotarian Nila and Rosette to give us the statistics. The announcements will be, let me see here. Yes, oh, I don't know that you can hear this. Go, go.
Now what's this? What's this? That's the side. All right, let's go.
Have you registered yet? A district conference like no other at a National Resort and Spa in Naivasha, Kenya is calling out to you. The midterm registration is cheap and affordable. Rotarians, Rotaractors and friends of Rotary are rushing to register.
Friends, I want to welcome you to register for the 97th District Conference as we celebrate service that changes lives.
Have you guys paid? You don't want to miss this fun.
An experience of a lifetime, a celebration of service and adventure and networking opportunity.
I want to travel with my team, Rotarians, to go and see and witness the exchange of change from my district governor to another district governor.
It's the one time during the year where you get to meet almost all the Rotarians in one setting. So over the 4 days, there are so many, a number of things that happen, and it's not just business. There's a fun part of it as well, the different theme nights.
Young or old, for family and friends, there is something for everyone. Register now at $150 for Rotarians and $100 for Rotaractors.
Yes, those are a few announcements I wanted to share. One was about our cancer run, which we did in cohorts. And I'd like now to invite Chair Nila to recognize our guests, please.
Thank you, President. Thank you, guests and Rotarians who attended our fellowship. We are over 118 in number, and we had about 19 clubs who attended and one Rotary club. If you would allow me to go through them, we had RC Kalangara, RC Kampala Daybreak, RC Tila, RC Kampala-Ssese Hills, RC Bukoto, RC Masindi, RC Chiwenda, RC Kampala Metropolitan, RC Makinde, RC Kampala Hidden North Mission whether also east or west, RC Kasangati, RC KVV, RC Bulindo, RC Kabulasoke, Gomba, RC Gayaza, RC Nakasero Central, RC Wandegeya, and RC Chiwatri. I'm sorry if I may have missed out any of the clubs who may have attended. I submit, President.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to recognize the following guests. And if you have a guest, please raise your hand. First of all, let me recognize the CMPs who have been with us. CMP Albert, CMP Dennis, CMP Dominic, CMP Eva, and CMP Atwoki. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to recognize the guests who I observed online, Rhoda, Claire, Irene, Lydia, Christine, Patrick, John, Andrew, the husband to our guest speaker, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Paul, thank you for joining us. Join us again. Members, we're going to go in our cohorts for Chimeza, but before that, allow me make a few presentations. But first of all, let's have Rob Kavuma, if you're on, you'll give us the final toast. But before that, Rob, are you on? Okay. As we wait for Rob to respond, I'll share the statistics or the report for our cohorts. I don't know whether you've looked at this. August is looking like this. For those who are guests, we do our duties or our Rotary engagements through cohorts. And I would like to pick your attention to particularly completion of dues. Completion of dues means that the first cohort to reach the 100 mark will take those marks. And this means that some people have paid dues, but half paid. So if we push this, we can reach, a cohort can reach 100% in the shortest time possible, and they'll take those so many marks. Giving to TRF, I see some figures missing. In Entebbe, it seems you have not submitted or you've not given. Thank you, those who have given. Much India, thank you so much. 3,500 points in that giving in the month of August. That's credible. Visitings, you see the visitings, we are visiting other clubs. This is amazing. Thank you for reaching out. These are so many visits to other clubs. I don't know why some clubs are falling short on this, but it's a way of getting those marks. Keep on visiting and sharing what you experience in those clubs. Corporate sponsors, there are some cohorts that have not brought us corporate sponsors. That's why they don't have. You see Kulambila has got 2 corporate sponsors and they've got 200 points. Then Namgongo, you've brought in also 2. Namgongo 2 years. Just this week, you brought in Palemola to sponsor our projects. This is amazing, very good, I like it. Keep on pushing for those sponsors, and indeed, you'll get points for that, but also we'll achieve in our projects. Another thing to look at is attendance in our district offices, those of us who are serving beyond. That's at the bottom level. I don't know that you can see that. Yeah, those are the points. And on to DISCON. Please continue subscribing. I like the effort put in by Machinje. 62% of the members have registered for DISCON. Can we make this even better and better? So, ladies and gentlemen, as you go into your breakouts, look at these statistics. See where you can get the points. I'm still looking out for new members. If you're a sponsor of a new member, this column here of new member sponsors will also start growing. So mentor those members, talk to them about Rotary, and see if they can join us. And when they join, this will get populated with points for your invitations. Thank you so much. I like to appreciate the members who are holding on to this, the officers you're using, those who are doing statistics. It was amazing, the cancer run, as you saw in the video, every cohort participated, did something for cancer, and we appreciate this. I'll show that video later again, and you see what happened in the various cohorts. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we had this month, and I pray that you will continue doing this so that we grow. When you do this in your cohort, it means you're doing it for the club. The projects we have been talking about, Doreen has been talking about, can we reach out to the community? You can do it in your cohort. And indeed, it will be the club to achieve. We're going into cohort breakouts. Guests, these are breakouts where we do our chimes every now beginning of month to discuss how we can achieve more in our cohorts. Before that, let me ask CMP Dominic to give us a final toast to close this fellowship, a very wonderful fellowship. Dominic, are you here?
Yes, President.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the wonderful fellowship that we have had this evening. The good talk that we had about special needs. And for that, I propose a toast to Rotary International.
Rotary World
Over.
Thank you. Please look out for the breakout rooms and
Rotary World Over.
Proceed to those breakout rooms. Our dear guests, members are going to go into breakout rooms for Chimeza in about for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on what they will be discussing. And please bear with us in case we leave you in the main room. I'll stay with you in the main room. The rooms are open. please look at the request to join and choose the cohort you should go in. Some of you could see just 4 boxes which are inviting you to join. You click on those boxes and then you'll choose the cohort you should join. If you have any challenge, I'll push you. Join, and discuss matters concerning your cohort.
Mr. President, I can't join. I'm not seeing anything this time around. Press Tra here. Mr. President, this is Petra. I need your help to join Namgongo.